Hi again. Today we're going to be having a look at reflexes, or as they're more correctly known, reflex actions. So, what are good reflexes? Now, you've probably got something in your head like a little like this. So there you go, some old westerns there. Sorry about the no sound, but there you go. Look, so reflexes, this is something you can easily test yourself at home. If you're working with a partner, one of you hold a pen, the other holds your hand about 30 centimeters or so below. The person who's holding the pen, at some stage, just let it go without any warning. And if you can catch the pen, then that means you've got good reflexes. Yeah? No. So that's actually wrong. What you've tested there and what you saw in those videos of the old Wild Western shootouts was actually not an example of good reflexes, but an example of a good reaction time. So we're going to have a look at a reaction time in a bit more detail later and give you a more detailed test that you can do for that. But let's have a look at what reflexes actually are. So they're not the same, and people obviously get this wrong quite often. So a reflex or a reflex action, these are automatic things that your body does that are very fast in as a way that your body can respond to a certain stimulus. So your sense receptors pick up a stimulus, and whenever that happens, they send the message towards your spinal cord through the sensory neurons. So normally that signal would be sent to your brain. The brain would process that, make a decision on the correct action, send the information back through the relay neurons and the motor neurons to your effectors, and then your body would do whatever it is the brain had told it to. In the case of a reflex, though, that signal actually gets bounced back from the spine and sent directly back to the muscles or the effectors, the glands, whatever it is that's performing that action. Now, this happens without the brain. So the decision and the processing is not done by your brain in the case of a reflex. It is actually done at the point of the spinal cord. So your brain doesn't even get involved. Reflexes are so fast that they're designed specifically to stop your body being damaged by this stimulus that you've touched there. So there are certain specific reflexes that do different things around your body, all basically to protect your body in one way or another. So let's have a quick look at those. So the one that you've probably all experienced the most is likely the startle reflex. And this is that good old thing that happens when you're watching a horror movie. Something jumps out, and even though you kind of knew it was coming, you jump back and sort of leap out of your seat anyway. This automatic response to move away, your muscles tense up, start blinking, changes to your breathing, increases in your heart rate. These are all ingrained responses to protect ourselves from something doing exactly that, jumping out in front of us. A very similar one, but much more localized, is the withdrawal reflex. Now, this is what happens if you touch something potentially harmful. You reach out with your hand, accidentally touch a hot frying pan or some candle, or put your hand into somewhere you can't see and you touch something you're not quite sure what it is. Hand automatically pulls away and removes your hand from that thing that might be causing you danger. I mentioned the reflexes are so fast that it happens before your brain gets involved. And this can be seen quite clearly with this withdrawal reflex at times, that if you touch something hot, you've actually pulled your hand away before your brain actually processes that information and you start feeling the sensation of the heat. So, interesting little thing there. An easy one for you to test yourself is your iris reflex. And this is the way your eye responds to changes in light. So if you set yourself up in a dark room and turn the lights off in front of a mirror, If you keep your eyes open, turn the light on, you'll see your iris contract and you'll see the pupil get smaller. This closes off part of the pupil, limits the amount of light getting into the eye to help protect the retina from getting damaged by too much light. The stereotypical reflex response is the knee-jerk response. So I'll just show you this quickly in case you're not sure what I'm referring to. So that's the classic reflexes test there. Kind of seems like a strange one to have. So what's the point of the knee jerk? What it actually does is it helps us walk. So when you put weight on your leg, the knee jerk response actually puts tension through that patellar tendon, the tendon that attaches your kneecap to the lower leg, and it causes the muscles around it to contract, and that helps support you. So if that reflex didn't kick in, you would actually need to think about deliberately, consciously contracting each of your muscles to work to walk, to take every step. And so in doing that, your muscles would be reacting relatively slowly. So you'd put your foot down and then you wouldn't actually have time to think about contracting your muscles before you'd already fallen to the floor. If you did even manage to walk doing it this way, you wouldn't be able to do anything else. I mean, something as simple as chewing gum wouldn't be able to be processed because your brain needs to think about both things at the time. So you'd either stop chewing or fall over. So very, very handy for us to just do something simple like walking. So as we said, reaction times are not reflexes, but what are they? So when we're talking about reaction times, what we're actually referring to is how long it takes for your brain to process a stimulus sent from the various sense organs around your body, come up with a decision, and send the information back to the effectors to make that action happen. So if we're talking about something that you see, that's around 0.25 of a second, so about a quarter of a second from a visual stimulus. Interestingly, if you hear something or you touch something, your reaction time response is actually faster as well. I'll leave you with this. This is a quick experiment with a bit more detail than our little starter there that allows you to test your reaction time. So it does need you to work in pairs. This time we've got a ruler instead of a pen, but if you follow the instructions on here, then you'll be able to test your reaction time and compare it to those people around you. All right, thanks very much.